Other Life is a science fiction film that is on Netflix. It has horror elements, so I don't want to say sci-fi horror. It has horror elements, but it's mostly sci-fi drama. I made a list of science fiction horror stuff of the last 5 years, and I was asking people, had they seen any that I haven't seen? And they listed a few, and this was one a couple people recommended, so I was like, screw it. So I threw it on Netflix. It's on Netflix. And I loved it, man. Holy shit. This completely slipped past me. It came out in October of 2017, so about a year ago. And no one, I have not heard a single person mention this outside of the people who just recommended it in my list. Why isn't this getting talked about? This is such a cool movie. Now, it borrows from science fiction stuff that I've seen before, like Inception, Total Recall, and Black Mirror's White Christmas with Don Draper, John Hamm. I dug the hell out of it. If you're into lower budget sci-fi stuff that makes you think, not ultra low budget by any means, it's a well-made film, but it doesn't have some, ridiculous huge science fiction budget, nor does it need it. This film doesn't need it at all, but you never have to suspend disbelief because you're like, oh, they couldn't afford to do that well. No, everything looks good. Like, everything that they needed to do in this film looks great. And I really liked all the acting in it. I liked the characters. And another thing that this film does super well is it really makes you buy into motive. A lot of issues I have with science fiction, films in general, to be completely honest, is I don't buy into the motives of what drives people, what makes them go to extraordinary lengths and risk their lives, other people's lives, their reputations, everything. For what? That's one of my big reasons. One of the big problems I had with the movie Cam recently, a Netflix original film, is I didn't buy into the girl's motives. I was like, she could just walk away from this at any moment and it wouldn't really matter. It was more just of an arrogance thing than anything. But this film, it sells me on motive, and I need that very much for something like this. Anyways, so yes, this is a huge yay for me. If you don't want to know anything about it, I will talk a synopsis here in a second, but I went in blind. I prefer it this way. I thought it was excellent. So if that's enough for you, check it out. It's on Netflix. If not, the synopsis of this film, it is this company that she's trying to put together called OtherLife. And essentially what it is, it's like a virtual reality memory program. Much like Total Recall. Very Total Recall. And her motive is because she has a brother who she went out with, and they went out and he drowned, and he ended up being in a coma, and she's trying to wake him from this coma. And she has this liquid that she can program, and if she pours it on your eyeball, then it will give you a certain amount, it will give you a certain memory and a length of time that you'll live in this memory. And of course, they have human trials that they need to get going, and these government agencies want it for different applications like prison sentences and whatnot. And it gets into the moralities of stuff like that. But she's trying to program this stuff to bring her brother out of this coma, which, as I said, that right there, I completely understand, because she feels guilty for what happened. And so she starts to put together this stuff, and something goes wrong. And I don't want to say too much. I think you get the gist of it. I feel like any more than that. I feel like I already spoiled too much, to be completely honest. But that's really the only vague synopsis I can give you. She has this company. She's trying to get up off the ground. Virtual reality memories. You can spend a freaking year in a memory, and it only takes a minute of your life. But there's some really, really cool twists and turns. There's certain things that are semi-predictable, but they don't hurt the movie. When they happened, I was like, but as a whole, once it was over and once I had seen everything that had happened as a whole narrative and story, I was like, you know what? Even though those things were fairly predictable, didn't bother me at all. And I dug the shit out of it. So, no issues. I honestly have almost zero gripes with this movie. I thought it was damn near perfect for what kind of movie it was trying to be. So, huge recommendation for me, obviously. If you're a science fiction fan and you have not caught this movie, if you didn't hear about this movie like me, man, you missed a gem here. If this was 2018, it would easily be making my top list of the year. But I might have to revise an old list of 2017 because this would have been one of the hidden gems of 2017. I'm sad that I didn't get to see this much sooner than I did. But hey, I just got to see it, so lucky me. So thank you to those who recommended it to me. I can't pronounce either of your names. Well, Emily, how the fuck do you say her name? I don't remember. I'm so sorry. I'm terrible with names. I will admit that. But let me know if you guys watch this. It's like Diego, right? Diego. We learned how to say his name in the other video. But there you go. I tried. All right, guys.